Alright people, today I'm working on this 2015 Maserati Ghibli, and we're having some issues with the cluster not working, and no lights on the dash, and also we have a lot of other problems. Like I did a complete scan on the car, and the signal was not working at one point, then it started to work, and the lights and stuff in the interior was not working. So I did a full scan on it, and let's see what we're coming up here with the codes. Going into right now the body control module, and we're gonna go into the instrumental cluster. And before, I was not getting any communication with it. See, we have some store codes here. Lost communication, CAN bus C, bus off performance, lost communication, anti-lock brake system, control module. It was a lot more codes. It was like 11 codes, but what I did was I decided to check the connection on the cluster. Plus, one thing about doing a good diagnostic is to get a history on the car, and the windshield on this car was just replaced not too long ago. And then also, while I was removing the screws, I noticed a little bit of rust around the screws as well. So that gives me a signal that some water probably had got up in here due to the windshield had been broken. And so I decided to make a little short video of how to remove the cluster. And first thing you will have to do is remove this trim panel right here, and it has some clips there on both sides, and you can basically just pull it forward, come out with the trim panel. But this one here, you have this other cover here that's going to be covering the screws. So what you'll have to do is pull this forward as well, and it'll pop out to gain access to that screw right there and that one. And there's another little cover. This here was on top to cover the cluster, which is there's two screws here, one here and one over here as well on the other side. So what you have to do is basically pop this cover off that's underneath there covering those screws. You'll take your little pry tool, pop it down, and pull it forward to come out. Then you'll be able to have access to these top screws here by pulling forward the top part. The cover for the cluster comes basically forward and up and out. And also, once you do that, you'll just be able to take the whole cluster out, and there's one main harness in the back of it, which I disconnected. The whole cluster come out. So some people do upgrades on these cars with the cluster, and as you can see, there is one plug in the back here, nothing else. So basically a plug and a play. If you want to upgrade, you might have to do a program also as well. I'm not sure because I never did one. But what I did was I disconnected the cluster. I used some dielectric grease on it due to the water getting into the system and maybe getting into the cluster. So I'm not really sure if the cluster itself is completely bad. Right now it's working. I don't know if it's gonna go bad again, but if it does, then we know what the problem is. But for now, it started back working when I put the grease on it. So yeah, people, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I have more videos coming. This was not really a hard diagnostic since I didn't have any communication with the cluster, but I did have communication with all the other modules. Even though I was saying lost communications with them, I did a full scan, and I was able to get communication except for the cluster, so it pointed me straight to the cluster, and I started working on it. And it looks like it's working now, so let's see what happened. Alright people, give me a thumbs up, share, give me a like. See you guys on the next video.